Imagine this. You are stepping into a glowing forest where plants take on human shapes and where creatures you thought you knew change into something different, and you might not even realize it's happening until it's too late. Stay with me now. Welcome to Peak Plot Recaps. Today, I'm going to explain a sci-fi, horror, and adventure film, Annihilation, directed by Alex Garland. The movie follows a group of female scientists who decide to walk straight into a nature's version of a psychedelic nightmare zone. With a 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb rating, this film masterfully blends adventure, drama, horror, mystery, sci-fi, and thriller all rolled into one beautiful, terrifying package that'll mess with your head. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe button. And now, spoilers ahead. The movie begins with a woman named Lena finds herself in what appears to be a medical facility. She's inside a containment room while people in hazmat suits ask her questions. Among them is a man named Lomax, who is interrogating her about a mission she went on. Lena and her team were expected to be gone for about 2 weeks, but they have been missing for 4 months. To Lena, however, it feels like only a few days or weeks have passed. Time was warped, and she has zero clue what happened to her. Lomax keeps pressing her about what happened to her teammates, and Lena confirms that 2 of them are definitely dead, but she has absolutely no clue what happened to the other 2. She looks genuinely confused. Then it shows us this mysterious object flying through space before it crashes into a lighthouse, and immediately this area starts glowing with this otherworldly light. Fast forward 3 years from the crash, and we meet Lena properly. She's a biology professor at Johns Hopkins University, living what seems like a normal life. She's teaching her students about cancer cells that multiply super fast. Her husband, Kane, a special forces operative, has been missing for over a year on some military mission, and she's obviously devastated about it. Her colleague Daniel tries to cheer her up by inviting her to a barbecue, but Lena's not really in the mood for socializing. She is still grieving over her husband's disappearance. One day, out of nowhere, Kane just walks through their front door like he's been gone for a coffee run instead of missing for an entire year. Lena, shocked and emotional, hugs him, but something's seriously off about Kane. He doesn't remember where he's been or what happened to him. Kane takes a sip of water and immediately starts feeling sick. Lena panics and calls an ambulance. On the way to the hospital, their ambulance gets intercepted by government agents. They sedate Lena to separate her from Kane. When Lena wakes up, she finds herself inside a secret facility. She meets Dr. Ventress, who explains that Kane was part of an expedition into this mysterious area called the Shimmer. The Shimmer appeared around the lighthouse we saw get hit by the space object years ago. It had been growing for 3 years, consuming everything in its way. Kane is literally the only person from his entire team who made it back alive. Everyone else either disappeared completely or was found dead. Kane is in the facility, but he's in critical condition, dying from multiple organ failure. His body is shutting down from the inside out. After visiting Kane, Lena promises to help him. Dr. Ventress is putting together a new team to go into the Shimmer and figure out what the hell is going on in there. The team consists of 4 women. There's Josie, who's a physicist, Cass, an anthropologist, Anya, a paramedic, and there's Lena, with her biology background, who reasons with Ventress to allow her to join and find a way to save her husband. She decides not to tell her new teammates that Kane is her husband. Few days later, the team ventures into the Shimmer and crosses the shimmering barrier. It's like someone took nature and put it through a cosmic blender. The area is filled with plant life, but everything looks slightly wrong. Lena awakens inside a tent and finds herself with the team, but none of them can remember how they got there. It's like someone erased parts of their memory. Their food supplies reveals they've been inside the Shimmer for several days, and GPS devices and other equipment are acting up too. The team decides to continue deeper, and as they're exploring, they come across this small shack by the water. While they were investigating, something inside the shack grabs Josie from behind and tries to drag her under. Lena goes after her and jumps in to save her. The team regroups outside, but then suddenly, a massive mutated alligator emerges from the water. Lena's military training kicks in, and she manages to kill the creature. When they examine its mouth, they find shark teeth mixed in with the alligator teeth. It's like the shimmer is mixing and matching DNA from different animals, creating these hybrid monsters that shouldn't exist. This discovery makes Lena start having flashbacks about her life before the mission. She remembers her final moments with Kane before he left for his mission, but she also remembers something else. She was having an affair with Daniel. The team continues their journey by boat across a lake, trying to get closer to their destination. Lena starts to open up to Cass in one boat about their lives. Cass asks about Lena's background, and Lena lies, saying she was in the army and that her husband was killed in action. Cass also reveals that she lost her daughter to leukemia and starts sharing information about the other team members as well. It becomes clear that everyone on this mission has some serious personal baggage. Anya apparently has a history with addiction, struggling with substances that probably helped her cope with whatever trauma she's carrying. Josie has a tendency towards self-harm, dealing with her pain in dangerous ways. And Dr. Ventress? Nobody really knows much about her personal life. The team reaches a place called Fort Amaya, which used to be the Southern Reach's headquarters before the Shimmer swallowed it up. The mutations have affected everything here. The walls are covered with what looks like malignant tumors. They find evidence that Kane's team had also set up camp at this base while they were in the Shimmer. They discover a camera with footage from Kane's expedition. The recording shows Kane is cutting open one of his teammates' stomach with a knife, and instead of normal organs, there's this writhing, slithering mass inside. The footage is so disturbing that the team can barely process what they're seeing. They continue exploring the base and find the room from the footage and a skeleton that looks like it was destroyed from the inside out, probably by the same creature that was living inside the soldier Kane cut open. The Shimmer isn't just changing things on the surface, it's getting inside living beings and transforming them from within. The team decides to stay there for the night. Lena examines a cell sample she collected from inside the Shimmer, and she sees under the microscope that the cells are undergoing this weird form of division that she's never seen before in her entire career as a biologist. She discusses her findings with Dr. Ventress, and Ventress explains how humans have this built-in self-destructive need. She suggests that maybe this destructive impulse is what drove Kane to volunteer for such a dangerous mission in the first place. Lena realizes that Kane might have found out about her affair with Daniel, and basically chose the suicide mission as his way of dealing with the betrayal. But before she can process it fully, they hear a loud, terrifying noise coming from outside the facility. Cass volunteers to go investigate, and Lena watches in horror as this massive creature that looks like a bear attacks Cass and drags her away into the darkness. The next morning, the team finds Cass's shoe. Lena decides to go looking for her teammate, hoping that maybe Cass somehow survived the attack. But when she finds Cass, her body is mangled and positioned near a tree. The team presses on toward the lighthouse because turning back seems just as dangerous as moving forward. They come across an area where the plant life has grown into shapes that look eerily human. Josie says that the Shimmer isn't just randomly mutating things. Plants are copying animals, animals are copying other animals, and everything is getting mixed together in this cosmic genetic soup. They decide to camp in a nearby house for the night. Lena wakes up to find herself tied to a chair along with Josie and Dr. Ventress. Anya is holding Lena's gun and acting completely paranoid and aggressive. She's figured out that Kane is Lena's husband, and she's convinced that Lena killed Cass to cover up some conspiracy. The Shimmer has been messing with her mind and making accusations that don't make sense, claiming everyone around are liars. Suddenly, they hear what sounds like Cass's voice calling for help from outside. Anya immediately runs out to help her teammate, but a mutated bear-like creature emerges from the darkness, and it's been copying Cass's voice. The creature has somehow absorbed her dying screams and is using them as a lure to attract more victims. Josie manages to break free from her restraints, but the creature kills Anya before Josie shoots the creature. The next day, Dr. Ventress makes the decision to continue to the lighthouse alone to complete the mission no matter what. Meanwhile, Meanwhile, Josie discovers that plant roots and leaves are rapidly growing out of her arms. The shimmer isn't just changing her DNA, it's literally turning her into part plant. Josie explains to Lena that the shimmer isn't just distorting their equipment or playing tricks on their minds, it's actually refracting their very essence, their DNA, their fundamental biological structure. Instead of becoming another victim like Cass, she chooses to embrace the transformation and walks away into the forest. Lena tries to follow her, but by the time she catches up, Josie has already transformed into a humanoid plant structure. Lena continues toward the lighthouse, and when she finally reaches it, the area around it is covered with strange plants, along with skeletal remains scattered everywhere like a bone garden. The lighthouse itself is covered with the same plant-like material that seems to be spreading throughout the shimmer. Inside, Lena discovers a charred skeleton sitting against the wall with a camera pointed at it. When she watches the footage, she sees Kane sitting in that exact same spot with a phosphorus grenade in his hand. He's talking to someone behind the camera, confessing that he doesn't even know if he's really Kane anymore. The shimmer has messed with his sense of reality so much that he can't trust his own identity. He asks whoever is behind the camera to take care of Lena, then pulls the pin on the grenade and blows himself up. After the explosion, the camera reveals who was filming. It's another Kane, identical to the first one. This is the Kane who made it back to Lena. Lena finds a hole that leads down to what must be the impact site of the original meteor. At the bottom, she discovers Dr. Ventress, but her face is distorted and disfigured, barely recognizable as human anymore. Ventress explains that the shimmer is some kind of alien entity with the goal of annihilating everything, not simply destroying but transforming it beyond recognition. Ventress dissolves into a bright, amorphous cloud of light that somehow pulls in Lena's blood. The cloud uses Lena's blood to create a humanoid figure that starts mimicking her every movement. Lena tries to fight it, striking out at the entity, but it hits her back with the exact same force. She tries to run, but it follows her perfectly, copying her desperate movements. Lena grabs a phosphorus grenade that Kane's team left behind. She manages to place it in the entity's hand, but the entity starts transforming into Lena's exact form. Lena pulls the pin out and escapes as the grenade explodes, as it's being consumed by flames. The fire spreads throughout the lighthouse, and all the strange constructs and mutations in the area begin collapsing. The shimmer itself starts to dissipate and disappear. Back in the present, Lena's interrogation is finally over. Lomax confirms that the shimmer has completely vanished, but Lena still seems uncertain about what really happened to her in there. She visits Kane in his room, and they share an intense moment as they question each other's identities. She asks if he's really Kane, and he admits he doesn't know. Then he turns the same question back at her. She doesn't respond. The movie ends as they embrace each other, and both of their eyes begin to glow and change colors. It's unclear whether either of them is still human anymore, or if they're both copies created by the alien force. This story shows that sometimes the scariest places aren't filled with monsters or aliens. They are the things that mess with your mind. And just like that, we're out of the shimmer. Maybe. Who knows anymore? So, what do you think about this movie? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like and subscribe for us to make more peak recaps for you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.